If you are just starting on Amazon and you are questioning whether you should be deleting your inactive listings from your Seller Central, this is the video for you. Today, I'm going to talk all about it, what they are, how they affect your account, and some top tips and tricks, and why you should be thinking about doing this. So stay tuned. If you don't know who I am, my name is Thomas Parkinson, and quite simply, I've been selling on Amazon now for 4 years, doing online arbitrage in the UK. And right now, I'm on a mission to do £1 million, and I'll drop a link up there, and you can see all about my journey and how I'm getting on. Let me just talk through what I'm going to be talking about today, and then we'll get into the content. First things first, what does an inactive listing mean? Number two, why you should be thinking about deleting inactive listings from your Amazon Seller Central. Number three, I'm going to be showing you step by step how to actually do this with a live screen share. And then finally, number four, I'm going to be sharing some top tips with you about which listings you should be deleting and how to do that as part of maybe like a weekly or a monthly admin process. So let's get into it now. Okay, so first things first, what does an inactive listing mean? Generally speaking, it's going to be when you're out of stock, i.e. you've got no more stock, but it can also mean some other things as well. Now, it can be that either you've closed the listing, i.e. set it as inactive, or Amazon has set it as a closed or inactive for you by way of they forced you can no longer sell that product, or there's some problem with it, or by quite simply that you've run out of stock even though you've got a pending order, because once that order completes, you now no longer have any more stock left. So quite simply, an inactive listing can mean multiple things, but quite simply, it means that no longer is that product selling and is active on Amazon's website, and so that customers cannot buy that product anymore. Okay, so that leads me quite nicely onto number two. Why should I think about deleting inactive listings from my Amazon Seller Central inventory? Let's go into that now. Well, first things first, number one, why is it important? Well, quite simply, there's something called your IPI score. Now, this is your inventory performance index score. And this is basically a measure Amazon uses how well you're managing your inventory within Amazon's FBA warehouses. Now, you've got a target with your IPI score that it does change sometimes, but right now it's about 500. You want to try and maintain your score above. If you keep it above that, Amazon are pretty happy. Below that, they start putting restrictions on what you can do for FBA. Now, one of the top influencing factors upon the IPI score is what's known as your in-stock rate or in-stock inventory. That's one of the top factors which are going to have an effect on that IPI score. Now, if you've got lots of product in your back of house inventory, which are no longer in stock, then obviously your in-stock rate is going to be lower. So by clearing down that in-stock or clearing down those out of stock products, just means that your in-stock rate will naturally be higher. There are basically four categories that affect your IPI score, and I'll put an overlay around here so you can see that. But quite simply, they are reducing your excess inventory to increase profitability, increasing your sell-through to balance your inventory weeks of cover, ensuring inventory is viable by fixing listings that are stranded, and then finally, increasing sales by keeping popular items in stock. So quite simply, thinking about that sell-through rate, that's the really important one, keeping items in stock. Generally, by the very nature of arbitrage, what we're doing is we are actually selling products that we don't really restock that often, so we have a very low restock rate. So clearing down those old inventory items from your Seller Central, really, really key to making sure that your sell-through rate stays high. There's another reason why you should care outside of IPI index, and quite simply, this is things such as IP complaints, intellectual property complaints, and things like getting requests from Amazon for documentation about products that you have in your inventory. We've seen it time and time again, whereby someone sold a product 6 months ago and they've been out of stock for 6 months, but all of a sudden they are hit with an IP complaint. Why? Because the brand or the brand owner or manufacturer speaks to Amazon and says, hey, I'm not happy with anyone with this product. We want to log an IP complaint against them. And what they do is Amazon will look at everyone who has that brand or that product in their inventory, regardless of whether it's in stock or they've even sold it recently, and issue them with either an IP complaint or perhaps maybe a request for documentation of compliance. And as a result, even if you don't sell it anymore, you are still hit or struck. with that broad brushstroke of complaint or documentation request. Now, if you clear down those products, quite simply, what does that mean? You are less likely to get these complaints, these IP complaints, and the requests for documentations. It just means that it makes your life so much easier. For example, there's been a whole wave quite recently of requests for product documentation as of around the end of 2020. I know sellers who literally got hit with 132 different requests for different products, or documentation for different products, because they had them all in old out of stock inventory, but they were still in their account, and even though they haven't sold it for 6 months. And that's huge, 132, when even just getting a handful of them is a real nightmare. So deleting them out can make your life so much easier. Weekly admin getting on top of it, clearing these down helps your life, whereas leaving it all in one chunk opens you up to the possibility of Amazon saying you need to provide more documents and possible IP complaints. Now, I've had cases of this time and time again, and quite simply, I'll show you an example here of whereby I've received a product, even with us, where we're pretty on top of it, a product we no longer sell, we're not in stock, we get product compliance requests. And this is whereby Amazon are requesting the documentation. And it's just more admin we've got to do, and we've got to speak to manufacturers and try and source them. It's not easy to complete. And generally, Amazon will probably want you to get them all done. Even though they don't have a metric that they score it by, they will obviously be tracking how well you comply with all their requests as a good seller. So quite simply, I'd really recommend clearing down those old listings. Don't get those emails from Amazon about old products, and don't get 100 product policy documentation requests. That's just a nightmare. Okay, so quick question for you guys. What is your IPI score? I'd love to know. Drop it in the comments down below. I think mine right now is about 540. Don't quote me on that. I know we're over 500, we're fine, but I'd love to know what yours is. Drop it in the comments down below. Okay, so first things first, what you want to do is come into your Amazon Seller Central, and this is about now going into your inventory. So come up to inventory, and we want to go down to manage inventory, manage FBA inventory. Get that right, Tom? Quite simply, obviously come in. Now, when you're in here, you can see all the information about your inventory, and quite here, simple, in the middle, it's got like date created. So it tells you when the product was created last and the last update to that product. So really useful information there to know. I'd flick over up here to inactive. So go to the inactive listings, and we'll just wait for that to load. What we're going to be looking for are products whereby there is no stock, and we're talking about across the whole board, not just inbound, available, unfillable, but also none in reserved as well. So just wait for that to load. But you've got here, we're literally seeing all the inactive listings that we've got, and again, just coming back, the date created, and on there, and also it says status change, which is really useful for you to know when the SKU was created and when it's inactive. Now, top tip, sort it by, that I've just done there, sort it by date created, get the oldest first. That's what I find that helps. Okay, so over here, you can also just see, obviously inbound, it's got 0 here. You've got available, you can see unfillable, and also reserved. So when things move around within Amazon, they're going to show up there. So they might not be available to sell, but they might still be available in your inventory because there's stuff going on. Now, quite simply, let's just kind of scroll down, and what we want to do is we want to look for products whereby we've got also unfillable is 0 and reserved is 0. So everything is 0. So let's kind of look down. So scrolling down, and what we can see, if we go and see here, you can see there's a lot of products here whereby there's nothing. So there's no inbound, no available, no unfillable, no reserved. So we're happy with that. So what we want to do is quite simply to speed up the process, and just to make your life easier. We can do them individually, but this time we're going to do them as a group, or a group selected, to make your life so much easier. So let's come over to the left-hand side, and you've got the tick box. So what we're going to do is click on the tick box. So click on the tick box, that allows us now just to do multiple products, and we'll clear them down. So we'll click on this one, and then obviously you can see that inactive, out of stock, quite simply. And what we're looking to do now is we'll just tick on all these other ones to obviously select them as well. So fantastic. And obviously select them all for you. We've got quite a lot here, but what we're going to do is just use a couple examples. So obviously tick the ones that you need. And then what we're going to do is scroll up to the action button at the top, and then we're going to come down to delete products and listing, not close, but delete products and listing. So we're going to remove them from our inventory. So let's click on that. It says, you sure you want to permanently remove them? Click yes, we are looking to remove them. And then it asks you to double confirm. So we'll click yes again. And then what it's going to say is you've got, please give them about 15 minutes to update the inventory, and that will reflect in your inventory. So right now you'll still be able to see them, but they will disappear. So quite simply, that is how you remove the products from your inventory or inactive listings. Now, the one thing which I will say is, let's say, for example, you have a product which you've removed from your listing or your inventory, and then, I don't know, maybe it comes back into stock for some weird reason, it got lost and it now gets added in, or the customer returns the product. Don't worry, what happens is it doesn't disappear, it falls into your stranded inventory, and then that will allow you to enter it back into your inventory. Okay, so I just want to take a moment. What you've just seen is a process that we do in my Amazon business all the time. Now, quite simply, I don't actually do this. I pretty much live in Mexico and I run two businesses, obviously my Amazon business and my FastTrackFBA business, which you're watching the videos of now. And how do I do this? I quite simply do this because I have a team. I have a team of staff who work for me in my businesses, which support me in growing the business where we want. And they do an amazing job, and I would not be able to do what I do today without them. And you too can do exactly the same thing. We in FastTrackFBA, we have a service called the FastTrackFBA VA Academy, whereby we find and hire VAs to work in your business. Now, quite simply, right now, we do this with manual sourcing VAs. We go out and find deals for you to help speed up the sourcing. They are sourcing pretty much while you're sleeping, and you can wake up, go through all the deals, find the ones that you like, and buy. Really great service. Last year alone, we hired 92 VAs for our clients. We had some clients come back for 5 VAs, and they're growing into 6-figure a month territory selling on Amazon. So really successful and added so much value to our clients. If you are interested, check out the FastTrackFBA VA Academy down below. It's a great service, and we fully support you, not just finding VAs, but also getting results in your business for 12 weeks afterwards. So check that out. That's really going to help you. And hey, maybe you can come and join me out in Cancun while your team are doing those admin checks, like clearing down the listings, obviously while you're out here. Okay, so a couple of top tips for you just when you're thinking about clearing down inactive listings. Number one, and I did it with the screen share, make sure that everything is 0. So not only is available 0, but inactive stock is 0, or reserved stock is 0. Also unfillable is 0, and all the results you're looking at are 0. Now, top tip, we also do, generally speaking, we'll pretty much make sure that anything over 2 months old, we will clear down. So we'll keep them in there if they've been a week or a couple of weeks old. That's fine, not a problem. But after about 2 months, that last status changed on the inventory. If it's over 2 months ago, we'll clear that down as well. Now, I would also recommend, just to make your life so much easier, get into the habit of building this into a weekly management admin checklist that's going to help you out. Just doing that on a weekly basis, number one, makes your inventory a lot cleaner, improves your IPI score, and finally stops you from getting all those IP complaints, as many of them, but also the product policy compliance requests. Bit of a mouthful, that one. Stops you from getting those, and that's just more admin that you don't need to do. So clear down those items, make your account much more cleaner and efficient, and obviously run a really top business. Okay, so that is pretty much it from me today. If you've liked this video, give me a big thumbs up, and hey, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you a video around here with top ways to find Amazon arbitrage products for your business. These are methods that we use in my business and in the FastTrackFBA lead service as well. Watch that, it's really going to help you. But from me, Thomas Parkinson here, and Cancun and FastTrackFBA, thank you very much.